think it's been a while since I've done this class. I always forget which classes I have recorded and which I haven't. So welcome, 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 Leslie. Welcome, Kelsey. Welcome, Amy. Welcome, Emily. Take a moment here, my friends. Let yourself move a little bit. Shake it off, right? You need to dance a little jig, whatever you need to do. It's kind of like animals in the wild, right? When they are stressed or tense, they're being chased. When the danger is over, they shake, right? And it releases all of that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system. And we don't kind of have that built into us. Humans are different. And so we, especially in today's time, we perceive stress as like it never ends, right? But why not try it? Give it a little shake. Can't hurt, right? Take a big inhale, a nice sighing exhale out the mouth. And allow yourself to work towards stillness. Maybe you have to play a little bit of a game with yourself, right? How long can I be still? Can I not move for 10 seconds? Right? It doesn't have to be real long. But just in that stillness, notice it for a minute, right? Notice the stillness. And in that stillness, you might be able to feel your heartbeat. You'll definitely probably be able to feel the movement of your breath. And see if you can begin to calm your breath, making it smooth and even, equal breathing. So think about whatever I inhale for, 2, 3, 4 counts, exhale for the same amount. And maybe it's just like these rolling heels, right? Inhaling and up, exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. We've done it before where we visualize a paint stroke, right? The paint stroke going up is exactly the same as the one coming down. Allow yourself to be lost for a moment here in the breath. And then just a very short reading for you from Daily Om. I share these from time to time. You are unique. There is no one else like you in the entire universe. In honor of your unique self, it is good to acknowledge and embrace the special qualities that make you the person you are. One way to do this is to not compare yourself with others. Sit in that a moment. You are unique. And that is good. Because you have qualities and gifts that are just yours in your way. No one is the exact combination of you. Even identical twins that might have the same genetics, right? Nurture, nature, both play a role. And they're unique. You are unique. No one can replace you. Celebrate that. And as you bring the palms of your hands together, lifting the thumbs to your heart, take a moment here and truly, truly celebrate your uniqueness. Tell yourself 3 things that you love about you. Celebrate 3 things that you are good at. And yes, there are more than 3 things, so you can celebrate 3 things. When you're ready, you can gently allow that chin to bow towards your chest. Softly flutter your eyes open, pausing, adjusting to the light. And when you're ready, you can come on up. I'm going to take those legs and swing them over to the right side. We haven't come into deer pose in quite some time. I just realized at least a couple of weeks. So we're going to work our way towards deer today. But let's start slowly just by working through this right hip a little. I'm just kind of pressing it forward and releasing. That little bit of movement in there. Welcome everyone else that's joined us. And then as you kind of loosen that up, as you press the hip forward and you find that place where you're like, ah, that feels like just a good amount of something happening there. Just pause there. And you can bring that right hand over to the left leg if you like. Try to relax through your pelvic floor muscles, through your glutes, your abs, your shoulders, your jaw. And then from here, we'll add a little in and out of twisting. So the legs stay where they are. We'll twist the torso and release. Twist and release. A couple of times, or a couple of more times rather. Nice. And then on this 4th or 5th time, come into that twist. Think about how far you can twist the belly. Read in a reasonable, it's not about hitting any, goals or surpassing any goals here, just coming to where it feels good. Then bring your attention up to the sternum and see if you can twist through the sternum a little bit more. And then you might even be able to look back over that left shoulder. And depending on your flexibility through your rotation, you might be able to see your right toes. I'll just pause there for a few breaths. So we're just playing with our limits, not pressing past them. And then from here, we can let up that rotation a bit, reach that right hand long, reach that left hand long, pull gently onto that left hip, maybe grabbing a pillow to allow yourself to recline down into it. Coming into deer pose. So this should feel pretty restful. Allow yourself to be here in rest, to be at ease. Starting at the crown of your head and slowly moving down towards your toes, just thinking about relaxing a little more deeply throughout your body. So softening the eyes, the jaw, and just continue at your own pace. Simply saying the body part, followed by release or relax or let go. You might repeat that a time or two. And allow yourself to tune in and really be in this moment of that release, that relaxation of the body. And if you do still feel a little tense, just note it. You tell yourself it's okay. Some days are just that way. The more we fight it, usually the harder it becomes to let go. So maybe just simply tell yourself, I'm feeling a little tense today. It's okay. It'll pass. I'm just going to keep trying to relax. And then on our inhale, we'll move slowly. You can take your pillow and just slide it out of the way. We're actually going to come down onto the belly. And we're going to rest on the left side of the head, the left cheek. And we'll take that left arm and stick it out in a T position from our left shoulder. And then we're going to use our right leg to open us. Right? So we'll take that right leg off the floor and reach it back behind the left. Nice. So we've been in this position before. We usually just come into it a little differently. Coming into it from your belly allows you to be a little more relaxed in the position. And then if you feel good here, you can take that right arm and let it open behind you. Now you can always bring a pillow underneath your head as well. But usually when we start on our belly, it's not as big of a deal with the pillow. When we start on our side, it's a little bit different. Just see how you feel. That right arm can just hang in space, or I like to bend my elbow and just let it tuck behind me. Bring your awareness into the chest. Feel that sensation there. So often we round forward so that when we open our chest, it can feel very different to feel that opening, that stretch through the chest. Take a few more breaths here. And then we'll bring that right arm back in front of us. Bring that right leg back on top of the left and allow yourself to just roll onto your stomach easily. From here, we'll start to lift our chest, coming up into either Sphinx. So in Sphinx, the forearms stay on the ground. Think about lengthening the front of the spine. Squeeze the glutes a little bit to enhance the lengthening of the front of the spine. Now you can stay here. If you're good with taking that a little deeper, you can press up, straightening those elbows. Again, think about lengthening through the front of the torso. Relax the shoulders down the back, squeeze the glutes. If this brings any strain into your back, just go back to Sphinx. If you want to rise up a little more, you just slide your hands a little closer to you. And then we'll slowly push up onto our knees, pulling our knees up under our hips and taking a few cat-cows here. So on that inhale, drop the belly, and on the exhale, round. So we started with some nice twisting through our spine. Right, in deer pose, we got deeper into that twisting and into the chest. Now taking a moment with just a little bit of movement, allowing that lymphatic system to just move the junk out, right? And then we'll slowly come over onto our bottom and we'll work all that through the other side. So if you'd like to take your pillow that you might be using over to the other side and your legs over to the left. Move around as much as you need to. Find that comfy position. We'll start left hand on left hip. So a little bit of movement through the hip. Every time you push it forward, you kind of feel that opening through the hip flexor, the groin area. Nice. And then find that place where you're like, oh, I can hold here for just a bit. Feel a little bit of lengthening. You can play around with how bent your knee is. Your left hand could come over to that right knee if that feels more comfortable. And then we'll start that gentle twist through the torso. Just in and out of the twisting a few times. Breathing. And then as you kind of feel that loosening, bring your awareness to your belly. Where will my belly twist towards? Rise up through the sternum. I can go a little deeper there. And then take that neck and maybe gaze back over the right shoulder. Maybe you just, out of your peripheral vision, might see some toes back there. And noticing too, if like one side you're like, ooh, I could totally see my whole foot. And now I can't very much, right? So just knowing, which side of our body's tighter. And then releasing out of that slightly, reach the left hand forward, right hand forward, pull onto that right hip, slide that nice pillow under you, and coming down into that deer pose. So lots of options in deer pose. I didn't specify so much on the first side, but your hands could be under your head. They can be reached out long. Notice that release, maybe that survey head to toe again. Soften the eyes, the jaw. Continue to move your way down your body, thinking the body part, thinking relax, release, soften. Surrender to the rest, the ease, the stillness. And then just a little bit of lifting to maybe remove the pillow. Coming onto your belly, resting on the right side. Take the right arm out into that T position. Then letting the left leg start the work. So the left leg lifts and reaches back behind the right. So the twist starts from the bottom of the body. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you notice this side's easier or a little more awkward. And if all is well, maybe you reach the left arm. Maybe it hangs out. Maybe you tuck it behind you. You always have that option to add the pillow, but you might find that, oftentimes we come into this more from our side, and that lifts our neck, that lifts our head. Starting from your belly, you might find that that's a little more relaxing. You don't need the pillow maybe. Bring your awareness into your chest. Maybe this time it doesn't feel quite as intense with the breathing because we have opened our chest a couple of times now already. This pose on the other side, and then Sphinx or Cobra. A couple of more breaths here. Trying to slow down, soften your breath. And then we'll slowly bring that left arm over, rolling onto our belly. Take your time here. Maybe let your hips rock side to side. Maybe bend your knees and let your lower legs kind of windshield wiper side to side here. So feet are in the air. It's a nice release to your low back, your SI joint. Your hands can be kind of tucked at your side or really laying wherever you like. Just a couple more times here. And then we're just going to go from here to our back. So maybe pressing up the least amount that you need to and rolling onto your back. And give yourself that nice big hug when you get there. Maybe really pull the knees into the chest. Feel your tailbone, but then even up kind of into the sacrum, up to kind of your pant line, lifting up off the floor just a little bit. Let's stretch right at that SI joint. And then from here, we'll just let the bottoms of the feet come together and the legs lengthen down into reclining butterfly. You can bring your heels closer to you or let them slide away. You can grab pillows or blankets here. If you want a little more stretching through your arms, you could reach them up overhead, or you could grab elbow to elbow and let your arms just kind of frame your head. Or your arms can come to your sides. If this position feels pretty intense, you can always take a pillow and slide it under each kind of outer thigh, outer knee, so that your legs rest into the pillow, making this more restorative. Or you can stay where you are, allowing gravity to assist you in stretching through the hips. You allow any tension in your face to melt away. Feel your body surrendering the time, the space. Give yourself permission to not have to do anything. You get to just be. No doing, just being. And we'll slowly start to lengthen the legs out long. And let your arms release to your sides. Extra time here in our together Shavasana. Just to practice titration for a bit. So titration is kind of the equalizing. So if you notice here, if there's an area of your body that feels a little discomfort, maybe it's some pain, maybe it's some tightness, maybe you have an itch, or maybe it's a little bit more of an emotional pain, stress, sadness. Take a moment, allow your awareness to go to that. But then bring your awareness away from that to a place in your body that you would kind of maybe say like you don't feel anything. Right? Like if you really bring your attention to it, you can feel proprioception that that part of your body's there, but it's a part of your body that feels just comfortable. And allow your focus to be in that comfort space. Just examine it, right? Let it become you. Now you might find the mind pulls you back to that little place of unease, whatever it is, because that's, a little bit of our nature. And that's okay. Simply acknowledge it. My foot itches, or my low back's a little tweaky. But I'm going to go back to my right hand because there's no tension. There's no weird sensations. Everything about that right hand just feels perfect. Right? And maybe you're even kind of talking aloud in your head, saying those things. And you can let yourself repeat that process, not purposely taking your mind back to the area of dis-ease. But when you notice it happens, just simply an easy statement. Come back to the whole story of the place that feels good. You might might just notice a little bit of magic. The dis-ease becomes less so. You can continue this active titration. You can just bring your awareness to your breath or whatever brings you peace and comfort. I invite you to stay here as long as you like. Whenever you are ready to move, give yourself a little bit of time to do so. Maybe some light movement to slowly make your way up. May your evening be beautiful. Namaste.